So get yourselves into a comfortable position. And you really want to have the pelvis. I now go on and on and on about the pelvis, but you need to have this lower back. You need to have a nice curve in the lower back. It should be curving inwards, sending the belly out. So undo your trousers if they're tight, undo your bra. So this is a big thing. If you've got a tight bra on, undo it now, because you really want to feel that expansion, and it will feel quite restrictive when we start doing it. Everyone's getting their underwear off. Get your belly out, get your boobs out. We'll do this. So the pelvis is going to roll forward, the pubic bone is going to roll forward a little bit, and you're just going to scoop the flesh of the buttocks back a little bit so that you can feel the sitting bones pressing down into whatever you're sitting on. And it's fine to be on a chair, it's fine to be on the floor, sitting cross-legged, or maybe straddling a bolster. If you're on a chair, you can sit forward on the chair and try and support yourself, or if you need some support, then put a cushion in your lower back so that you can feel the shoulder blades and the upper back resting, but you're still supporting this curve in the lower back. So we're making space. This is a real physiological, felt sense of how much space there is in the lungs. And then just bringing the throat back just to elongate the curve in the neck. Still curving inwards like the lower back. We want that. We don't want it straight, but we want to just bring the throat back, draw the shoulder points back a little bit, slide the shoulder blades down the back, and really feel that the crown is lifting up towards the sky. Soften your gaze, close your eyes if you want to, if that's comfortable for you, and start to take your awareness inside. So at this point, nothing to do but slowly draw your attention inside. So you might start with all this noise, all these thoughts, and I want you to notice that. I don't want you to try not to think. I don't want you to try not to be hectic and fragmented. I just want you to notice where you are right now and just accept. This is how I begin, and I start to internalize. I start to go in, and the best, most tangible way to go inside is to watch the breath. Not to change the breath at this point. And this week we're focusing on the physical effects of the breath. So just noticing the shape that your body makes when you breathe in, the sound your body makes when you breathe in. And again, when you're breathing out, just notice what happens to your physiology, your physical body. Notice the sound of the out-breath. Notice any muscular release on the out-breath. And just continue like that. Watch the in-breath, observe. Just become this interested, curious mind looking at what effects the in-breath has, and then do the same with the out-breath. And then notice if there's any resistance to breathing out fully. Often at the end of what you think is the end of an out-breath, there's a little bit more to go. So notice what happens if you allow yourself to breathe out that extra little bit. Not forcing, maybe you are breathing out fully, but normally there's a little bit extra to come out. And it's at that point that you will let go. Often we're subconsciously holding on. We think we're relaxed, but some part of our body is resisting. And this is just a learned behavior. It was learned when we had to stay awake and aware and alert to something dangerous. And we just never dropped it when that danger had passed. So see if you can get all the way to the end of your out-breath without forcing. Just experiment. Curiosity really helps here. And then we'll begin with this 3D process. And we begin by trying to feel the expansion of the lungs laterally, side to side. So the side to side expansion. So with the in-breath, you're stretching the lungs and you're feeling, setting your attention on the lateral expansion of the lungs. So you feel your side ribs moving towards your upper arms. And this is a big expansion, lateral expansion, as if you're getting bigger, which you are, at the sides. And then as you exhale, every exhale in this practice is just taking you back to your original center. So inhaling, side to side expansion of the lungs, of the rib cage. Side ribs pushing to the upper arms, and as you exhale, coming back slowly to your center. And your center might just be the original shape of the rib cage, or it might automatically be something more profound, and it doesn't matter which it is right now. And obviously you are expanding in other directions, but your attention is set on the side to side expansion. Just a few more breaths. And then we're going to think about the front to back expansion of the rib cage on the breath. So as you breathe in, the sternum moves forward in front of you. And then the shark's fin, the part of the spine, which is the thoracic spine, which means every part of the thoracic spine has a rib attached to it. So that's the thoracic spine. The space between the shoulder blades, every time you breathe in, the thoracic spine moves back behind you and presses your shark's fin back into whatever's behind you. So that happens with the in-breath. And with your out-breath, again, you're coming back to the center. So if you were between two planes of glass, one in front of you, one behind you, the sternum and the thoracic spine would both be pressing back and forward into these panes of glass as you inhale. And as you exhale, slowly, you're coming back to center. And you might notice the exhale is slowing down. It's good. We want to try and slow the exhale down. You might notice that this is harder or easier than the step that we just did. That's fine. Again, be curious. Just a few more breaths. And you might be able to feel, with this shark's fin coming back, you might be able to feel the bottoms of the shoulder blades, like I was showing you before, moving up and away towards the armpits, because that's the natural effect of that shark's fin coming back. It pushes the bottom edges of the shoulder blades out and up towards the armpits. And then as you exhale, shark's fin comes back into its original place, and the bottom tips of the shoulder blades just melt back down like a pendulum. Very nice. And now we do top to bottom breathing. So as you breathe in, you'll feel quite easily the sternum rising and the breath filling into the space underneath the shoulder blades, the collarbones at the front. And as the breath comes up and the lungs fill at the top, these collarbones, they kind of twist a little bit, they spiral and they open away from each other. So that's the top. And then the bottom, as the breath fills the lungs, the diaphragm muscle, the parachute that's hooking underneath all of the ribs, attached all the way around, it presses down, it suctions down, and allows the bottom of the lungs to fill completely. So every time you breathe in, it's up to the top, collarbones twist and open, and the diaphragm muscle pulls down. And then every time you breathe out, very slowly, everything's coming back to center. You might feel a little subtle effect on your pelvic floor muscles as you breathe in and the diaphragm muscle sinks down. So do the pelvic floor muscles sink down. And then as you breathe out and the diaphragm muscle comes back up, so do the pelvic floor muscles. They're all doing the same kind of tense and release with every breath. So you might be able to tune into that. Don't worry if you can't. This is natural recoil on the out breath that sends everything back to center. Very nice. So now we're going to put all three together. So for the next series of breaths that you do, when you breathe in, you're going to expand out side to side, front to back, and top to bottom until you're really full of breath. And as you breathe out, very slowly in all directions, you're going to come back to your center point. And you can imagine now a center point at the center of the rib cage, the center of the lungs. Side to side, front to back, and top to bottom, all with an in-breath. And the out-breath is slower. And it's like removing the air from the neck of the balloon as slowly as you can. So at this point, you might want to add the Ujaye with the out-breath, so that you're just restricting the passage of breath out of the body, making this sound with the mouth closed, so that it's controlled and it's super slow. Now you might want to let go of Ujaye so that you can breathe in side to side, front to back, top to bottom, and then use Ujaye on the out breath again. Or you might be really familiar with Ujaye and it might be no problem at all to do Ujaye with the in-breath too. Either way, it's fine. There's no better way of doing it. But sometimes when we add too many things to think of, we've lost the original idea, this 3D expansion. So we've added Ujaye with the out breath. And we're really tangibly feeling all of those three directions all at the same time. And now we can start to make the exhale longer than the inhale. I'm going to suggest inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 8. And if this doesn't work for you, if 8's too much, you can do 4 and 6. If my count's too fast or slow, you can do your own count. If you want to do it with me and it connects and it works for you, then I'm going to invite you to inhale 2, 3, 4, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And inhale 2, 3, 4, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in, side to side, front to back, top to bottom. And out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And continue on your own count. Twice as long with the exhale. And you can go to 5 and 10, 6 and 12 if you want to. Or you can change it so it's 4 and 5, 4 and 6 if that was too much. And then the last part of the practice is where I'm going to use the so hum chant with you. When I chant so, it's your inhale. And when I chant hum, it's your exhale. And we'll do some slow ones, we'll do some medium ones, and we'll do back to slow. So, hum. 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 And just continue on your own. Hear your own voice, not outwardly, just hear your own voice inwards, chanting the mantra with the inhale and exhale. And then allow the mantra to just fade away. Allow the breath to fade away. Allow the breath to do what it wants. Sometimes there's a suspension of breath following a practice like this. Just bask in the space you've created. Just allow the breath to do whatever it wants. And then begin to very gently come back from this practice in your own way. So you start to externalize Feel your body. Listen to sounds. Feel a tangible sense where your clothes are, where you are in the room. Consider the taste in your mouth, any smells you can smell. Coming back to the body, maybe dropping the head down just to stretch out the neck. Feeling the weight of the head hanging down. Maybe opening the eyes at this point to allow shape and colour back in. And then very gently, in your own way, maybe stretching the arms, stretching the fingers, stretching the ribs, just feeling into what you've just created. So do some stretch that will enable you to feel the full openness of the lungs. Stretch out the legs, stretch out the toes. And when and if you're ready, just make your way back